Fellow viewers, I'm back. I'm Bishop David Kodia, addressing you from the Kodia talk show channel. Today, I want to address the issue of the role of the state in tax collection and the role of the citizen in payment of tax. The state is an institution formed by the people to take care of its interest. The interest of the people, in most cases, in a democratic society, is viewed as paramount to the interests of the state, which is an institution. Thomas Hobbes authored a theory of social contract that entails that the people, to some extent, would surrender its rights to the sovereign, the right to punish those who offend them, the right to raise fundamental issues like social justice, security, things which individuals in their own way could not be able to manage. And that social contract theory entails that the people also have their share of responsibility in the affairs of the state. For example, individuals cannot have their own roads. We are so much interconnected. We need to move from point A to point B. We need to fly from one area to the other in this modern age. So there are certain things that individuals cannot do on their own without one strong, powerful structure by the name state taking charge. So state had been given immense power to command or to demand obedience from the citizens. One of that power requires that they demand the payment of taxes. The revenue collection that the government is getting is meant to provide for security. It's meant to provide for environment conducive for good living, for peaceful coexistence. No individual can have an army. So it is the prerogative of the state to form units of protection, security forces. We have the military, we have the police, and many other segments, layers of security systems. So because of the fundamental responsibility that the citizen has given the state, the citizen also has the right to demand services that commensurate to the very revenue collection that the government is making. So if there is no commensurate service received from the state by the citizens also have the right to protest. The citizens have the right to demand accountability. But because the citizens don't have the power, the military capability, the weaponry to resist the excess of the state, the citizen, through a democratic process, would engage in the change of the government. that manages the state. Government is the institution that manages the state, or is a system of the state that manages the affairs of the country. So in this case, the people have the right to change that government that manages the systems of the state through ballot or through election. And this one only happens in a democracy. But where democracy does not exist, where there is no process of changing the system of the state, which is the government, the people can resort to what we call popular revolution. And revolution in this case does not mean they are taking up arms. Violent revolution sometimes can be costly. And because of that, Indira Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., all advocated for what we call non-violence means as a way of changing a government or bringing change to the society or a way of forcing the government to be accountable. So this can take different dimensions. It's not a violent revolution, but it can be a passive revolution where people decide to sit and say, if it is my money I work for, and I'm not seeing the value for that money, I'm now sitting on my money. There's no point giving it to the states. So people can resort to civil disobedience. You cannot have adequate space in our jails to take the entire population if they decide that this is the way they are going. So it is upon the elected leaders to ensure that the revenue that the government collects on behalf of the people meets its objective, primary objective of ensuring that there is adequate security in the land. Those who are deprived, the poor, who cannot afford medical attention, they get free medical services. There is enough money set aside for such cases. You go to our public health facilities, what you see is pathetic. You go to the general hospitals, you find patients suffering from different diseases sharing one bed. You look at even the diet they are put on, you pity them. Even the environment of the hospitals itself is already a health hazard. Where is the money allocated for health? Where is the money allocated for employing more health personnel to deal with emergency situations? My focus is simply to remind all of us that we have an obligation to call the government of the day into account. They must be able to tell us how our funds, hard-earned funds that we give back to the state, is being spent. It is not a favor, but it's a right. If I give you my money with specific instruction on how to spend it, I need you to account for it to the very last coin. So citizens in this country have been taken for a ride. You see an MP coming back home and asking people to come so that they queue, they give them some bursaries for their children to go to school. Someone comes with 5,000, giving someone with a fee arrears of, let's say, even 100,000, and you are given a check of 5,000. What is that? This is a mockery. We must revisit the way we spend public money at whatever level. So accountability is critical in revenue collection. Government must ensure that every coin that it receives is accounted for. But luxury living, you see, even when some of our leaders, even when they are making a visit to any other place, they motorcade, they riders. There is all wastage of public resources. Can't we be shrewd for a while? Africa is known to have developed dictators on a yearly basis, and they are growing stronger and stronger, richer and richer, not because they are working hard, but because they are robbing the people they are leading. They fly in choppers everywhere, changing vehicles everywhere, limousines, whatever, name it. They go vacations outside the country on account of the public funds. They cannot account for even a single cent that they've been given. In Kenya, for example, just to be more specific, the Auditor General always reveals wanton wastage of public funds. No action has ever been taken with regard to the report of the Auditor General. Controller of budget had been raising red flag every now and then. Nothing happens. So the government, all the previous governments we have been having, are accused of mismanaging public funds. And as citizens, we cannot just sit down and watch things go wrong. Myself, as a bishop, I have the obligation to raise my voice, the voice of God, because there are many voiceless people, people who cannot speak for themselves because of fear. But as for us, God has given us a mandate to raise some of these issues, and we owe no one any apology. Let's be honest, even where you are. As you listen to me, I want you to do your bit. I want you to do your bit. God wants you to do your bit so that we make a difference where it is possible. So, my fellow viewers, as you have heard, we have the responsibility to be shepherds, good shepherds of our resources. God bless you. We meet again next week, God willing. Goodbye.